We have, I would say, limited defense capabilities against this weapon, depending on how it is delivered. There's got to be significant investment in missile defense. Having said that, we will never have 100% reliability in shooting a missile down once it's fired. There will always be that threat, and this is a very, very serious situation that we find ourselves in now.
Nothing reassuring about that. North Korea's reported advancements in its nuclear program now raising questions about just how reliable the U.S. missile defense system really is. Joining me now to talk about it is Stephen Bucci. He is former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Homeland Defense, and he was responsible for overseeing policy involving air, land, maritime, and cyber defense domains. So you're the right guy to have on and assess that statement that you heard just before you. How ready are we to defend against an attack like this?
Well, we're actually more ready than we've ever been before, particularly for an opponent like North Korea, who has a limited number of missiles. We really couldn't do much against Russia or China, who have hundreds and hundreds of them. But in this case, we're better than average at doing it. Is it perfect? No. Do we need more of it? Absolutely, particularly in places like Hawaii. That's kind of the most likely target for somebody like Kim Jong-un.
Yeah.
But we're just not as good as we could be.
Okay, that's not reassuring at all. I mean, I don't want to be prepared on a relative basis. We want to be prepared for an attack on an absolute basis. What needs to be done, and how much danger is there really? I mean, to say that we're better than average, that's not great.
A lot of people will quote you numbers. Well, you know, that we only hit about 50% of the ones we test. It's actually more like 60 to 65. And to be honest with you, remember, we only test the stuff that we don't have set yet. The really good stuff we don't have to test anymore. But in the case of Hawaii in particular, we need to deploy already existing technologies. The Aegis Ashore system, it's the same missile system that's on our warships with its associated radars. The THAAD system, the one that we have put into South Korea and into Eastern Europe, we test them there in Hawaii, but we don't have any deployed. So we really have the Americans who are closest to the threat and therefore the most likely target who don't have the capability to protect themselves. We need to get that deployed, and we could do that in weeks or months because it's already existing technology.
Why is it not currently deployed? Just because we didn't think that there was a threat that could reach Hawaii?
Some of it is they have a plan to deploy a much more advanced technology that's about 6 to 8 years away. There's always a balance with defense spending like that. But in this case, given the newest information on North Korea, it's really imperative that we deploy that existing technology as soon as possible, if not today, to protect those American citizens.
I've read different articles about, you know, people from Lockheed Martin being quoted as saying there's a scramble that's going on around the world right now of people trying to collect defense weapons. Do you think that's true? And who would that be? Is that Japan? Who else is trying to get prepared for this?
Well, our allies are, and we're helping some of them. We've helped South Korea. We're helping Japan, who has a lot of its own capability. We're helping our allies in Eastern Europe. Remember, because it's North Korea, it's also Iran that we're worried about. There's a lot of concern about ballistic missile threats, and people are trying to find a way to defend their territory and their civilians. And so, yeah, there's not enough of it out there. We produce most of it, and we ought to be deploying it to protect our citizens.
Well, Stephen Bucci, we've terrified everyone, and now we're out of time. What can we do? Thanks for coming on. I hope you'll come back.